Well, we're leaving Taralabalu Kendra. We're on our way up country to the Sirigiri, which is the center of this particular community. We're going to be on the road for about 12 days, and there's a variety of communities that we will be visiting on this trip. Here's our bus, and we'll be off. Come on.
But before we're really out of the gate, we're almost at a standstill, a sign of things to come, and the way being here and the lessons we need to learn needs to be.
We left Bangalore 2 hours ago, and finally we're outside of the city. We all know that India is a country with a huge population, more than 1 billion people. It's a country that many of us know in terms of its cities, but 70% of India's population lives outside of the cities, in the villages. It's still a country of villages. So I think it's really important, and I know that I'm myself really glad to be leaving the urban environment and getting out into the countryside and to be able to see the villages in which the vast majority of India's population lives.
The ride on the bus gives us a chance to collect our thoughts, review the first few days.
I had no idea what I was in for. Just leaving my comfort zone was very scary. I want to be an adventurous person, but I haven't been in the past, so this was a huge step for me. Now that I'm here, I realize that the world isn't as scary as some people make it out to be.
It's a journey that takes place on many different levels. There's the outward journey, the physical journey, the cultural journey, the spiritual journey. It takes place on many, many levels. But at the heart is the inward journey that's taking place within the heart of the student. That's a very individual journey.
Each of us comes with our own preconceptions, what we don't know, what we misunderstand, or the things we still struggle with.
And all of that inward stuff is getting challenged, changed, moved around as they encounter the exterior India. This beautiful, beautiful land, this beautiful country, this beautiful people, all of that is having a deep impact upon the students who are on this journey.
We're a short 4-hour drive north of the city of Bangalore, and this is a whole new world in the small town of Sirigiri and the Hindu community of Taralabalu. It's headed up by Darrol's dear friend, Dr. Shivamurthy Shivacharya Mahaswamiji, who thankfully invites us to call him just Swamiji. He's a remarkable leader and spiritual guide to 1 million people under his care. He's made enormous commitments to social and environmental initiatives, as well as innovations in agriculture and Ayurvedic medicine. Many of these are groundbreaking innovations for rural India.
What is it?
But more than anything else, he knows India's future belongs to the youth and has invested in rural education. He has established and oversees more than 200 schools, all the way from preschool to university. This community practices a form of Hinduism that follows the god Shiva. Shiva Lingaites, or Lingayats as they're called, are different from most other Hindu groups in two significant ways. They don't believe in the caste system, and instead of participating in temple worship, they acknowledge a more personal connection with the divine. Each of them carries with them the symbol of God in the form of a lingam stone.
Om. Say that's it. Om.
Swamiji also acts as a regional judge for civil cases in this courthouse. He invited the group to join him for a conversation.
They're not these grand people anymore, they're his friends.
The access that he has to different kinds of things makes the trip way different than it would have been if I had tried to do this on my own. Feels like we're seeing the real India more so than I would on my own.
In the next hearing, she bought heap of letters. Can you imagine? Very interesting.
He seems like he's learning just as much as we are, even though he's been here 20 times.
Going to church doesn't make anybody religious. You have to go deep into yourself. Yeah? So this is where we fail. No matter whether you are Christian or Hindu or Muslim. If religions contribute to the coercion between different groups, then it is no religion at all. No religion at all. It's very unfortunate that we are identifying ourselves with the rituals, ceremonies, and outward shell of religions. There is a meeting point, converging point there. So that we should try to aim at.
We're in Sirigiri, and this morning we're going to be taking our group of students with us on a walk through the village. Going to see life in a small town in India. Kadu, kadu, come on! Kadu, kadu! It's a Bryant call. We're just doing a little walk around. One of the unique things about being in India is that we find all the levels of civilizations side by side. The high-tech world of Bangalore and urban India, and then we have village India. So it's really interesting to be in this village and to have a walk through and see the way people live and the closeness between the families and the animals.
Everything I surrounded myself with back home that I thought made me feel more connected to myself, really through learning through the people here that everything is inside of them, and that's where they feel their strongest worth and richness, and that's definitely something I'm going to take back with me and think about for myself.
It was a great experience to see all the families and how they live all together. It's hard to accept all of their hospitality knowing that we're coming from a place that kind of has a little bit more, and trying to respect their culture. without taking too much when they're piling on the cookies and the fruit and all the tea.
One of the things that's interesting is how you find the cattle in an extra room on the house. They're not really separated, but you know, they have their own space, and then there's a family space inside. Gandhi indicated that one of the essentials of Hinduism was reverence for the cow. And you see the way the cow functions in this society. It's very, very central to their life.
It was really special to spend time with people in their homes. Even though it was difficult for us to communicate, we found ways to express the gratitude and joy that we're feeling.
It's been a good day. Visiting the village has given us another take on things. It helps put spirituality into the homes and lives of everyday people.
I recognize them now. When I first came to India, I would see these and I'd not know who they were. Yeah. Here we have three Indian gods: God of wisdom, and Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, and Saraswati, the goddess of education. Right. And he's been just explaining to me that we need to have all of these three things together to live a good life: wisdom, wealth, and education, right?
In Western society, we don't, religion isn't as important to us. And coming here, it's really interesting to see it. It's the core of their culture and their society, and it's so much a part of their life. It's not, you can't separate it from their lives.
Oh. We in the West think of ourselves as in a more secular phase, but 90% of the world's population is a believing population with a profoundly different cultural and spiritual world from our own.
It certainly puts learning about different religious traditions and this trip into perspective. Recognize the differences and then look for connecting points, even in unexpected places. Like the kitchen, where the cook is teaching us how to make our favorite breakfast dish.
We learned how to make upama. And the main ingredient is cream of wheat. And has carrots and onions. It's very spicy. And it has a few Indian spices like fennel and coriander and chili peppers. It takes about 10 minutes to cook, and it's delicious.
It's awesome.
Leaving here won't be easy. There are so many experiences to treasure. Our time with the community, the hospitality, and even feeding Swamiji's pet elephant. But it's especially our time with Swamiji that tells us we've made a real connection.
It's amazing to be sitting in front of somebody that's done so much, but at the same time, having stayed at his house, you get that personal sense. And he came and he hung out with us, and especially that night when we had the entertainment night. It was just, friends almost.
Swamiji just has this really nice, pleasant aura to him. He just seems like the friendliest and sweetest man in the world, and I just want to hang out with him.
We'd like to stay, but the bus is waiting and the road calls.